unfortunately, Tam Tam has come down with a nasty case of bronchitis. It's so cold outside. She's not able to make it in today. We miss you, Tam. Get well soon, girl. But filling in for her as our guest co-host is someone we all love. She's a hilarious comedic actor and a very good friend to our show. Give it up, everybody, for Yvette Nicole Brown. Hi. So how have you been? It's so cool to have you back.
I've been good since I was here, Martin Luther King Day?
Yeah.
A couple of weeks since I've been back. This is nice.
Yeah. You look gorgeous.
Thank you, baby.
Okay, now Yvette, just to fill you in, all this week, The Real is paying tribute to one of our favorite cities out there. It's Hotlanta Week.
Yes.
I feel like I throw our sound guy off when I do that.
Right.
And finally, Yvette, we know you always keep it 100 with
do.
us, so thank you for that.
I do.
Now, that being said, are you ready for some live girl chat?
Yes! So excited.
Speaking of keeping it 100, yesterday, presidential candidate Kamala Harris decided to hit up the Breakfast Club and really open up to Charlamagne and the crew. Kamala specifically addressed her critics who have been questioning her blackness due to the fact that her parents were immigrants born in India and Jamaica. She spent her high school years in Canada and because she's married to a white man. Here's what Kamala had to say.
They're trying to do what has been happening over the last 2 years, which is powerful voices trying to sow hate and division among us. Mm-hmm. And so we need to recognize when we're being played. But I'm black.
Yes.
And I'm proud of being black.
Absolutely.
And I was born black, I will die black. And I'm proud of it. And I'm not going to make any excuses for anybody.
So, lady, like Kamala, have you ever had to deal with someone trying to question the authenticity of your race?
With all this melanin, no, it has never happened to me. It's abundantly clear that I am a black woman. And I think they only do that with black people. Like this one thing, first of all, we're not cute enough, perfect enough, all of that. And then when we try to advance, we have to prove that we're black, which are all the things that they say we shouldn't be.
Right.
So I'm just confused by it. I don't understand it. And may I say this about my soror, Kamala Harris? She went to Howard University and pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha. You don't get no blacker than that.
Yeah.
She's black.
Yeah.
She's black. She's black.
Well, if you're talking about, there's a difference between black people. Black people, because I looked up the term, is used socially for racial classification in certain countries. So she would be black. If you're talking about blackness, that is a word that's used to describe a persona or emotional bonding experience with the black culture. I do think, in all due respect, that people are questioning her blackness because of some of the things that she has done in her past when she was a prosecutor. And I think that's what people are talking about when it comes to prison reform.
Well,
and with her being married to a white man. I have to say this, me being a person dating a white man, that is about compatibility. That is not about blackness.
Yes.
Because let me tell you something, don't get it twisted. All day long, I will take off my wig and put up my fist and fight for my people. Understand that.
Yeah, like I don't get how dating someone white would make you less black.
Right.
the other thing that I can say about black women dating white men, nobody starts there for the most part. We give a lot of chances. Listen, I have never dated outside of my race ever. I've always been down for the brown. But if y'all see me with an other, I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. And I love my brothers. It's all right. I love my brothers. But I'm saying, am I lying? Am I lying though?
And just because you are now
that's so
compatible with somebody that's white doesn't mean you don't love
Am I lying?
your brothers.
I've been dating black men for 47 years. There's the one white man, and y'all gonna try to talk. No, it's about I gotta stay on my knees about this one.
Listen, and I love my brothers.
We love our brothers,
Yeah.
but it's about when we're talking about that, because let's be real, we're talking about they've been giving grief to Serena Williams.
Yep.
You know, they've been giving grief to anybody that's prominent that has been dating outside of their race. Well, I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to love, it's about compatibility, especially when you get in them 40s.
Yes.
So
I've never heard you talk about that. And I didn't realize that you do get shade for that. You do.
Oh,
really?
yeah.
That's such a weird thing to me. Like, you're just making me think about it right now. Like, ever since season 1, like, if we have Man Crush Mondays and mine happens to be a certain race, like, that's called out. And it's such a weird thing to me because I'm glad you brought that up with compatibility. Another thing I just want to say with Miss Kamala Harris and coming from the Bay Area, if you go home to the Bay right now, I grew up when it was straight up African American and Hispanic. And now when you go to the Bay, there's so many blended, beautiful families. Like, it's legit amazing to see what the world is about to look like in like nanoseconds, you know? Remember that. And I also want to say, this is why it's so important to me that parents do, no matter how, you know, how far the generations go, that you do remember to teach about culture. Because I think it's not about just what's in your blood, it's what you embrace and what you remember, the traditions, where you came from. So that's to me is what culture is about.
I think it's confusing for me on so many different levels. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, I don't know how to answer this question because I low-key think I need to go take like a college course on race. Because when you look at something like the census, for someone who, again, that's a whole other conversation, what's the difference between being Latina and being Hispanic? It is confusing, you guys. Like, I recognize that even on this show that I have African heritage that I'm so proud of, but at the same time, it would be odd if I claimed that I was black. For some people, I can't win either way. It's like if I'm like, well, I got some black in me, they'd be like, slow down, hold on a second.
But you know why that is, though? Because black people have had a boot on their neck in this country
100%.
more. Come on now, y'all know slavery. Hello. So we fought so hard to just be equal, and then finally, when we get Beyonce and people like that are like, all of a sudden everybody got a little touch, and it's like nobody wanted a touch before. Everybody got a touch. And I'm not saying that's what you're saying, because I can look at you and see you have African heritage in you. Like it's in you. So it's any melanin. It originates somewhere.
Yeah, like my mom did her DNA. I was raised since I was 12 years old by my stepdad, who is actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 88% African. He's 100% Puerto Rican, but Boricuas have African in their blood, and we are proud of that. And I was raised to be proud of that. My mother is 47% African.
But
that's
I
almost
think
half black. Like
but I do think that it's more about, do you use it as a benefit? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the fact of, are you
marching with the black folks?
Right.
Are you marching? Are you standing up for Black Lives Matter? Be black then.
So for me, I'd say yes to all of that. Can I claim, necessarily being a black woman? I would say I'm Latina, I'm Hispanic, and I have black in me. Is that, I don't know what the right...
No, but they feel like, do you have a one-up? You know what I mean? Are you using it as like, well, I want to be Latina when I want to be, and I want to be black when I want to be. And it's like,
Can I be what I am, which is a combination of all of that?
That's what
And that is that reality. And it's not just the reality of my DNA, it's the reality of culturally who I am and how I was raised. I was raised in the Lower East Side. Some people watch the show, and maybe they can't relate. They're like, well, she doesn't sound Latina. Sometimes she sounds black. I'm like, okay, but I was raised in New York City. All my friends were black and Latina. I had my one girl, Margaret Moy. Shout out to Margaret Moy from Chinatown. I had an Asian, you know what I'm saying? But that's how I was raised. So I am showing that in how I speak and who I am in my culture, but it gets complicated, especially now when you look at a census and there actually is no Hispanic or Latino on there.
It's just what?
It makes you choose, are you white Hispanic or black Hispanic?
That's
very
what's going on.
Very complicated.
I also think when it comes to presidential candidates this year, the one thing I legit am praying for when I am on my knees, I am praying for this, that we have more people of minority coming to try to lead our country. I want to see that, period.
And that with multiple people of minority races like Kamala and also Corey now saying that they're both running, that we also don't vote just based on race, but based on politics and on policies, and that we pay attention to all of it. It's all important.
I just think to button this up, you should just be proud of your culture. Whatever your culture is, and if you're mixed, I'm 10% British. I am proud of that 10%.
Or if you're unsure. That too. Claim it all. One couple who's really good at quieting the haters are Ciara and Russell Wilson. One of my favorite couples right here. And recently, to celebrate the release of her new music label, Beauty Marks Entertainment, Russell reportedly gifted Ciara with the original masters of all her music from her past and present record labels. Somebody said, all right, I feel that. And while it's such an amazing gesture, you guys, I was literally going through the comments and I noticed that people were arguing over somebody actually said this.
What they say?
You have to go through a future to get a man like Russell.
What that mean?
Guys, this is what somebody commented, and then underneath that, there was a whole argument happening. That comment actually made a lot of people upset who felt like you don't have to go through struggle love to find a good man.
Yes.
That you might get lucky and find a great guy from the jump. So I get what the argument was about. What I feel...
For the viewers, Future was her ex-fiance.
Yes.
And they had some issues, and they had a baby.
Yes.
They broke up, and then she married Russell Wilson, and they're living happily ever after. Let's put it like that.
That's it.
That right there was the synopsis by Lonnie Love.
That's it.
And, okay, so I feel like you hear so many cliches. Like there's cliches that say, you know, you have to kiss a bunch of frogs before you get to the prince, or like all those cliches. I can only go off of my personal experience. I had a boyfriend when I was 13 years old that I was with for almost 10 years. That's a really long, I know, exactly. Shout out to Aaron Flores. Now, I have told my husband this. My husband has met Aaron, and he was like a friend of the family, and all that to say, he was a good guy.
Yeah.
A really, really good guy. But I didn't know it when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, for all the years. I didn't know that he was a good guy.
Okay.
I didn't realize that the nice things he did for me were things that others will not do for me.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I probably, in my immaturity, I didn't recognize that then. It took me kissing some frogs or just incompatibility.
Right.
To recognize, and now that I've come full circle to be with my husband, Israel, that I appreciate the simple, loving things, that being a good guy isn't corny, which I thought at one point. I thought the good guys were corny. I thought the romantic stuff was so lame.
So you have to grow. That's what you're saying.
It takes maturity.
Grow. Yeah.
And I think it sets a bad precedent to tell women that we have to suffer in order to find the thing that we're worthy of. If you know that you're a decent, loving woman, then you should only be seeking decent, loving men. You don't, as Lonnie says, you don't have to do struggle love. And I think we do ourselves and each other a disservice when we act as if it's normal to be mistreated. It's not normal for side chicks to be in your relationship.
Preach.
It's not normal for people to be lying to you. It's not normal for people to be forgetting Valentine's Day that happened last year to me. It's not normal.
No.
It's
And that's
not
why
normal.
wait.
And that's why I'm single right now.
Right.
So don't allow yourself to put up with less than you deserve. But that starts with you knowing what you deserve.
Okay.
You better. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What do you think that women of color go through it, especially black women, more with the struggle love?
Yeah, because I don't think that we're seen as the prize that we are. I think that people are sleeping on how wonderful black women are. Now get it. You get a black woman, you get a sister, you're gonna get some mouth. But let me tell you what that mouth's gonna do. Get you through a lot of hard times. That woman is gonna pray for you. She gonna fight with you. She gonna fight for you. And she's going to make you a better man. So if you wanna be a better man, you might wanna get somebody with a little melanin. Hold you up, keep you strong.
If you date me, you're gonna get a wig too, okay? So understand that.
A bonus. I think the word struggle love, I think it's irresponsible. Because struggle love connotates that the other person is what made you struggle. When we need to start embracing, like you need to start taking ownership for the struggle you put yourself through because you didn't define what you needed in the first place.
That part.
And that's why I do truly believe life has an amazing way of repeating patterns until you get it upside your head that you need to stop doing what you're doing to get yourself in those definitions of what struggle love is.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So that said, whatever it is that keeps happening to you, whether you keep picking the wrong guy or that person's forgetting Valentine's Day or you feel like you're under what you feel like you deserve, well, then you got to take a look at yourself and really start to recognize what is it that you keep looking for, what is it that you keep doing that you need to change so you can get the love that you really deserve and stop bashing that other person.
Exactly. I agree, Jen.
You are the common denominator in all of your relationships.
That's a good point.
You get that.
But we in our fields today. I told you it was a good one.